If you have type 2 diabetes, you should tell everyone. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor or dietitian or nutritionist, or I'm not diabetically trained at all. The only thing I'm really good at is my own type 2 diabetes. Anything you hear on this podcast or any other podcast, before changing anything, you should talk to your medical team. I can guarantee you they'll be excited to talk to you about it because they're going to want to help you, but make sure you check in with them. Why should you tell everyone, right? Why shouldn't you just keep this type 2 diabetes a secret and don't let anyone know and hope that you're going to be successful and then maybe tell them about it later? Because it doesn't work that way. I have a whole bunch of people in my circle who are type 2 diabetics. I mean, if you're just recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, right? You're going to start telling people, the people that you trust probably, and you're going to find people. I went to a Christmas party one time, right, with a bunch of people I didn't know. Some of them were employees, some of them were like spouses of employees. It's like 4 people in there with type 2 diabetes. I'm like, what? I mean, it's like 1 in 10 people now. So there's a whole crap ton of us out there. But I've been in my circle, the people that I'm working with and friends with and everything, they're type 2 diabetics and pre-diabetics, and they have sworn me to secrecy. I know, their families know, but they're embarrassed by the disease. Now, it was different for me when I got type 2 diabetes. I told absolutely everyone, but it was easier for me. Why? One simple fact. I wasn't overweight. I was 6'3", 6'2". They measure wrong. Anyway, 6'2.5". And I was 200 pounds at diagnosis, right? The heaviest I've ever been, I think, was like 240, something like that. That was what I call the beer and butter stage. There was a lot of beer and there was a lot of butter involved. But I was 200 pounds, 6'2", 200 pounds. I mean, nobody was calling me overweight, right? So when I told people that I had diabetes, they were like, what? How do you have diabetes? That doesn't make any sense. Why? Because I wasn't overweight. I was active. It didn't make any sense to them. Didn't make any sense to me. Was it a metabolic thing? Yeah. Did I eat like a jerk for a long time? Yes. Did I overload my system with high carbs and sugar and bad things, and so that my pancreas got tired and I was insulin resistant versus sensitive? Yes, but I didn't fit the typical mold. When most people think of a type 2 diabetic, you think overweight. In fact, some people just assume that all overweight people are diabetic. And if they're not diabetic, they're pre-diabetic and they're waiting to get diabetes because they're overweight, right? Because we have enough knowledge to know that being overweight is bad for your diabetes. 80 to 90% of type 2 diabetics are overweight or obese. And that makes sense, right? It does. When you are overweight, right? And when you have a lot of fat in your system, it fills your cells with fat. So your cells are full of fat. So the insulin can't do its job, which is to take the blood sugar and get it into your cell. And there you go. You got all this blood sugar running around your system, and your A1C is high, and it starts attacking your kidneys and your liver, and gives you heart disease, all the kind of bad things that go around from that, right? So when you're overweight for a long time and you tell people you have diabetes, you assume, and you're probably right to a certain extent, that they think in their minds, what do you think was going to happen? You can't be overweight forever and not have any repercussions. You can, some people do it, but what do you think was going to happen? You're overweight. Of course you have type 2 diabetes. Same thing with heart disease, right? Same thing with someone who you find out has lung disease. And you're like, well, yeah, you smoke 6 packs of cigarettes a day for your life. Of course you got lung disease. So there's some assumptions that are going to go with that, right? So why should you admit at being diabetic, right? And this frustrates me, and I try to put myself in their position because I wasn't. Now, if I'd have been, 6'2", 310 pounds, and I got diabetes, yeah, I think that my reception would have been a lot different than what I got. Mine was a, sympathetic. People are like, what are you going to do? And all that kind of stuff, because I didn't fit the mold, right? But why should you admit to being diabetic? Why should you tell everyone? The people who love you and care about you want to cheer your success. They do. They want to be involved. You don't know that in your circle, right? that you might have a diabetic expert or someone who's been through type 2 diabetes or someone who's been battling type 2 diabetes and failing at it so you can learn from their mistakes. You just don't know. The accountability that comes with revealing it to the world is massive, right? You should have a shirt that says I'm type 2 diabetic. No one's going to do that, right? Maybe just a big, like remember the scarlet letter, maybe a big scarlet too. Like I'm loud and proud diabetic. I'm trying to be, I'm making a podcast about it. Anyone in the world can watch this and be like, oh, that's a type 2 diabetic guy. People asking you how it's going, right? There's accountability that comes with revealing it to the world, right? When you tell people you're type 2 diabetic and then they catch you with a candy bar, they might ask you, why are you eating that candy bar? And I'm just not talking about your family. I'm talking about your peers. I'm talking about people who you run into on a regular basis, right? Your family, of course, wants you to be healthy. And your family's been telling you, hey, man, how many chips are you going to eat for years, right? I totally get it. It doesn't work. Somewhat, but not as much as you think. But when your best friend's telling you that, it's a little bit different. When you reveal it to the world, when you tell your crew, when you're like, hey, I got type 2 diabetes, you're admitting your struggles. You're letting them celebrate your success. Diabetes should not be shameful, right? It is a byproduct of other things. It is food addiction. It's not working out enough. It's eating the wrong things. But it should not be shameful. It's something that we can and should be helping everyone we can reverse it. And your circle should and will be involved in your success. They can help hold you accountable, right? When you go out to lunch with somebody and you're eating a cheeseburger with really sugary barbecue sauce all over it and downing it in fries and drinking a regular Coke with it, they may look at you and like, what the heck are you doing, man? Like, what, really? What are you going to do? Like, it'll help you out. And it is a little bit difficult. It's a lot easier not to say anything. I guarantee that. It's a lot easier. It's going to be harder to hide and cheat when they know about it, right? Hopefully, you will find the support and not the guilt. That's what I hope for you, is that when you find your circle and you put it out there to the world and you tell people you're type 2 diabetic, that you will find the support and you will find, hopefully, right, a group of people, a core that you can lean on, right? You might find a support group. I'm sure they're out there, right? They may suggest you read a book like Mastering Diabetes or Reversing Diabetes, or they may tell you to listen to this podcast right here. If that's how you got here, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming in. I hope you're having a good day. But my advice is to tell everyone I have an amazing group of people who are so proud of me. They really are. And they supported me through this, not just my family, but my friends and coworkers. And, and I feed off of that. I love not letting them down. I love being able to tell them, hey, man, all these crazy things I had to do, it's working. I call them when I have a good A1C. I do. I have a list of people I call and text when I have a good A1C. 5.2, no meds, 6 months. Holy crap. I talk to them about my struggles. I got sick. I got a cold. My A1C sucked. Talk to some people about it, right? I've educated them on diabetes so that they can help me. Reversing diabetes is really, really hard. It is. And I hope that listening to this podcast or watching this, that nobody thinks that I think it's easy and that everyone should just do it. I do not think that at all. I'm lucky I didn't know how hard it was, because maybe I wouldn't have been as successful with it. But only 6% of people, type 2 diabetics, actually reverse it. And doing it without with support is almost impossible. I cannot imagine trying to tackle this without telling anyone except for maybe my wife, right? When you tell everyone you have type 2 diabetes, you also give yourself license to take care of yourself, right? So you're at work, donuts show up. Everyone's like, hey, would you like a donut? And you say, no, I can't. I have type 2 diabetes. Oh, that's right. I totally forgot. Yeah, man. Sorry. It's all good. If you don't tell them you have type 2 diabetes and they go, hey, do you want a donut? No, I'm good. Oh, yeah, you're too good for donuts. Yeah. Oh, we got Healthy Jones over here. What are you, on a diet or something? Right? Totally different than saying I have a diagnosed disease. I cannot eat donuts. You're not being a jerk about it. You're just saying no, right? I've had lunches that I had to go out to, and I've ordered a small salad, right? And they're like, "That's all you're gonna eat?" "Oh, I already ate." "You already ate? Why'd you?" I do intermittent. I have type 2 diabetes." "Really? How are you doing with that?" "I'm awesome at it." But I eat at 11 a.m., I eat at 2:30 p.m., and I eat at 6:30 p.m. So we're having lunch. I'm happy to have lunch with you, and I'm gonna have a unsweetened iced tea, and I'm gonna have this small salad, and you're gonna eat your food, and great, let's go. Let's go. Now, what usually happens is the first 20 minutes of the conversation, they want to talk about type 2 diabetes because they know someone with type 2 diabetes, or maybe they're pre-diabetic. But it gives you permission to be who you need to be successful. When you hide it and they don't know, you're going to put yourself in situations, especially food situations, where people's like, "Why aren't you eating anything? You don't like that?" But when you can't eat it and they know why, it's a lot easier. Trust me, it's a lot easier than not telling anybody. Trust your circle, bring them in, and appreciate their support. Tell freaking everyone. It's all good. I got you. Hope your A1C is down. I hope you have an awesome day.